welcome to the Sound Off. I'm Esteban, and this is the Esteban Hours Weekend Review Sound Off. How you doing today? Thank you for joining us. Okay, today's Sound Off is focusing on UK celebrity Russell Brown. Do you know who he is? He is actually a rambunctious celebrity um, in the United Kingdom. However, he's been accused of raping, sexually assaulting, and abusing women for over a course of about 7 years, including a 16-year-old. He allegedly called this 16-year-old the child. Now, this British actor and comedian who is 48 years old, he denies these reports even before they were released. Days after Russell was accused of sexually assaulting multiple women, and this took on from the period of 2006 to 2013, which again he denies. His talent agency dropped him, and then YouTube demonetized his channel. Now he can't make any money from his advertisements. YouTube's actions actually raise eyebrows as to him being punished for his conduct, which actually took place off the platform and doesn't involve speech at all. It's worth complaining about because Brad he was not convicted of these charges yet. But everyone is calling him a sexual predator. That's what we're talking about today. But before we go into it, let's bring in our panel co-host and co-producer of the Esteban Hours Week in Review, Jeremy Baker, Paul James Sizzler II from the In the Moment podcast, and our very own contributor to the Week in Review, Louisiana Country Boy, and also the host of the My Worthless 2 Cents podcast, Donnie. Welcome, gentlemen.
What's going on, everybody?
Hello. Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. Okay, let's get into this. So, we hear what the allegations are. I think we all know who this gentleman is. He is a eccentric, right? An eccentric type of fella.
That's one way of putting it.
A clean way, right?
Uh-huh.
He's known for saying all kinds of things and doing all kinds of things. He's also, I believe, the ex to the American Idol judge. Somebody help me here.
I don't even. Oh man, you're gonna.
Katy Perry.
There we go. That's it.
Sorry, Katy. I love you too.
Oops.
But
I dropped the ball on that one.
Right. That I can't remember.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. So this gentleman, go ahead, take it away, Jeremy.
Boy, here we go.
Battled drug and sex addiction and was known for his provocative humor and over-the-top persona.
Because you took your eye off the road because things was getting a bit fruity out there. All right, Liz, goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's been really a wonderful experience. I can undo your bra just like this. Liz, I love you.
He can keep pushing and being more and more extreme, and nobody questions it because it just is, well, that's who he is. That's what he does. That's just Russell.
Yeah. And
doesn't paint a good picture.
Not at all. He does that a lot. He kisses people and touches them and does inappropriate things a lot.
He's always been like that, though. Like, he's been very open about how, he sexualizes everything. You know what I mean? That's just who he is. Like, but when you get labeled with something like this, whether it's true and they find out in a court of law or whatever, you're pretty much branded this for life. This is one of those things that is.
Yeah, but if you lead your life like this, and he's led most of his, at least on his public life this way, is it not hard to believe that these allegations could be true?
No, I don't think it's hard to believe at all. The one that disturbs me the most is the kid. What'd you say called it? The child?
16 years old.
That's the one that really bothers me. You know what I mean? especially with, and this guy, he used to be very left wing. He used to be, he's as of lately gone down the rabbit hole, like we always talk about, and has started spouting left wing or right wing conspiracies, and just.
What do you think, Paul?
Well, make note that when these things were getting ready to come to light, how he took on this right wing persona, fake news, fake media, and all of that stuff. He knew it was coming, and then he can pit it. He can pit the people against him and everything, and stating that it's the media, it's all BS, it's not real. So, I tell you, I used to be a fan of Russell Brand, and
I did too.
Now it's not, because I mean, when you start looking at people like Russell Brand, Kevin Spacey, there's a whole bunch of them out there, and even like Kevin Spacey, who just won in court, I still believe that he's a creepoid. I mean, there's just no other way around it. And there's a lot of people that connected with like Epstein's Island and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are like this.
But he has not been convicted of anything yet. These are just allegations.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay for his career to be ruined or canceled, as they say, because the allegations are serious?
Well, YouTube is a private business, okay? And if YouTube wants to say that I don't want that on here, that's their right to do that. And I know a lot of people are going to go, but freedom of speech. This is a private company that allows us to be on here. And if they don't want their brand tarnished by brand, then they have that right, and let's say down the road, we find out that it's all a bunch of lies and stuff like that. That's then where brand has the right to sue for damages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And in a court of law, he'll have the evidence. Then he can be compensated for his losses, and that will allow him to reestablish his brand.
Great, good point. Donnie?
I'll just throw this. I'm sorry, I want Donnie. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll throw this in there. But what I've been noticing with all these sexual abuse cases and child sex cases is, even if it's not a 100% true, a lot of times there's some truth to it. At least what I've been seeing. No, I'm not saying that, maybe this one's complete bullshit. You never know. We won't ever know until the end of it. But
I will use the word arguably that may be true. However, it is a serious allegation.
Yes.
This is
absolutely.
This is celebrity. This is how he makes his bread and butter. So it's like you damn sure better come with the receipts, because you're about to ruin the life of someone. I understand Paul's point about YouTube is a private organization. That's true, and they can do whatever they want and to protect their brand. That makes a lot of sense. But wouldn't it be part of that cancel culture?
No.
He has not been convicted of anything yet. He is a superstar, no, not a superstar, but a celebrity, and he's been known for doing these things. It's not like this behavior is like a wow factor. Why doesn't he get some kind of...
I think it has a lot to do with what he promotes on his channels. He promotes a lot of Buddhist culture, peace, love, and harmony, and all that shit. You know what I mean? And then the turn around and have something like this come out and just because of what kind of allegation it is, I think it's really turned people off to the things he's been saying or preaching or whatever. So what do you think, Donnie?
Man, Esteban, I got to say I agree 100%. Here's the thing. I want to erase some things. Can I erase the fact that he is a superstar or a celebrity? Let's erase that. Let's take that out of the equation. Now, see, what I always think is, you know what? That could be me. That could be you. That could be anybody. What you just said is 100% true. How many times are people accused of something and their life, their legacy is tarnished? Okay, so what? 10 years down the road, it's proven it wasn't nothing. Okay, that's 10 years later. That's 10 years later. That's a time spent going through trying to figure out what's going on. I'm sorry, my computer's doing whatever it wants to do over here because it feels like it wants to. But that's that time spent. I have no idea. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second.
Well, I'm, thank you for agreeing with me. But I'm trying to see the realization in this, because let's take a sexual abuse case for example. They say that it's wrong to question a woman who says she's been sexually assaulted, right? Okay, I agree with that. It's wrong to question her if that's what she's saying. But in the same manner, isn't it wrong to automatically mentally, emotionally convict a person over allegations instead of waiting to see if it's true?
I think it happens so much though. I mean, that thing is allegations. There is, once it's founded, and then another thing, well, this has been going on. He's been like this. There's no, well, who stepped up then? So if you think that this was something 10 years ago and it wasn't right, then why didn't somebody step up 10 years ago? Because 10 years ago, you could have saved a 16-year-old 6 years ago, if that makes any sense. You could have saved somebody, but nobody wants to take accountability. Yes, he should take accountability and be held accountable for the actions. Be held accountable for your actions, not allegations.
Right.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of those situations where more women are going to come out about it now that some have come forward.
You think so?
I mean,
you think so too, Paul?
I like Russell Brand, though. Like, I like his movies. I think he's funny. But stuff like this, especially in today's environment, like, look at all the stuff that's going on. And I'm not bringing politics into it. I'm just saying the scandals, the abuse, the whatever you want to look. I mean, look what's going on. Like, we have more insanity and more nonsense being spewed out there. And I think now everybody's going to be quick to react to be caught in something like a scandal like this. Nobody wants to be involved in, nobody wants to support somebody that's been accused of something like this. But at the same time, like Paul said, maybe it comes out in a couple months that it's bullshit. Maybe we find out tomorrow that it was, a lie. Or like Donnie said, maybe 10 years down the road. Like, this is one of those situations where Russell Brand made his bed. He doesn't have a good defense because he's been like this his entire life. So he's going to have a hard time proving otherwise. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Paul, you got something?
Yes. We just did a show a little while ago. Why are we convicting Donald Trump in the public opinion? He has not been tried and convicted yet.
You had to say his name on the show. Damn it. I should have told you shouldn't.
Okay.
You're not allowed to do that.
Okay. So you're throwing a double standard out here. Here's a guy that has allegedly sexually assaulted women. And even though it may have been 10 years ago, women usually don't come forward because they know they're going to be victimized by the people that they tell. It happens. My expertise in criminal justice will tell anyone with any kind of knowledge that women will not come forward right away. They might tell a close friend, but they're not going to go to the authorities because they don't want to be victimized. They don't want to be humiliated. They don't want to be put up on a public stand and called a liar when somebody does something to them. So it takes time sometimes. Now, in this case where he's been accused, and you're saying he shouldn't be censored, he shouldn't be deplatformed or anything like that. Again, the people when hearing these allegations, have a right to decide what they believe based upon the allegations. And we get to decide if we want to continue to listen to him or not listen to him. And if they decide that they want to cancel him, blah, 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 that's all fine. I mean, take like Danny Masterson from that 70s show. Again,
Ooh, that's a good
same
example.
thing happened with him. And guess what? He was found guilty. Okay.
Yeah,
and now
30
you
years.
got Mila and Ashton and all that paying the price for writing a letter on his character.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't even commit a crime. All they did was write a letter.
Okay. So when people are saying, is this cancel culture? No, it's not cancel culture. You have somebody that is notorious for being handsy and blah, 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 so on and so forth. He has put that stigma upon himself. And now that there's allegations that are coming out that more than likely are true, and more than likely he'll be convicted on them, okay? It's his own doing. It's his own doing. Even if he's innocent,
Yeah.
and this is made up, it's his own doing. He put himself in this position.
Yeah.
How you present here and how you present now is how people know you. And if you're going to present as a liar, and then 20 years down the road, somebody calls you a liar on something, guess what? You put yourself there.
Very true. That's true.
That is a good point.
I totally agree. I totally agree, and I don't disagree with that. What I stand on is just, it's pure black and white. Innocent until proven guilty. But we stand. I mean, I'm talking about across the board. Innocent until proven guilty. That's the only thing I say. I'm not saying if it presents itself that the man is, then the man is. Bottom line. But what I'm saying is what happens in the meantime. What happens in the meantime? What happens while that proving thing is, are you being tarnished? Yes, and I totally agree with what you said. He put himself in that position. That's on him. Secondly, I say accountability. Accountability, I'm not talking about the women or the accusers. I'm talking about at some point we have some people around us, some people that whatever we may call them, booking agents or publicity people or whomever, or managers. When are these people going to say, hey, that's just a little bit too much? Or are they more worried about lining their pockets? And if something happens to you, hey, you know what? I didn't have anything to do
That
with it.
sounds like a familiar narrative lately, doesn't it? People just not telling people they're doing something wrong, just to line their own pocket.
Let me add to this. Familiar. Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. They had contracts canceled because of the allegations. Now, when you are a business and you're promoting people and you're investing in people, that's money. Now, if you're going to promote somebody that's going to tarnish your reputation as a producer, a contractor, a streaming whatever, a streaming platform, that can cost you money. Now, do you want to tarnish your reputation? And now here we are, we're saying, well, but they shouldn't do that. Well, what if he is found guilty and now YouTube's reputation, promoting sex offenders. Okay. You have to look at other people's reputations and the money it's going to cost them and their investments and stuff like that. Am I supposed to invest in somebody that might be guilty of something because they haven't been found guilty yet? That could cost me money later down the road?
Right.
I have another example.
What about?
I have another example. Go ahead, Esteban.
Okay, I get that point. But what about if it was someone else, not an entity, or your employer, but someone else who is pushing for you to be canceled? It's being reported that Piers Morgan releases government a letter demanding that he be punished and canceled. Is that okay? Is that right?
Piers Morgan?
I mean, that's Piers Morgan's opinion, though. You know what I mean? He doesn't have any authority over anybody, I guess. Piers is a dick, too. But I have another, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is another example of all this. When all that stuff came out and these sex addiction stuff, like he got dropped, boom, immediately by so many sponsors.
He did. He did.
You know what I mean? So allegations, and like Paul said, these companies, even YouTube, with and they have very loose, policies for the most part. I mean, as compared to other platforms, they all have to still protect their own brand. They have stockholders. I mean, again, it always comes down to money. Damn it, they have shareholders. You know what I mean? They have stock prices to worry about.
Too much.
And typically that's what they're looking at. Is my stock price going to fall? If possibly, yeah, we don't want that to happen. So we're just going to shut him up for a while and not monetize him. You know what I mean? So it's just the world we live in. We could probably pick this apart for weeks and still not come up with a reasonable conclusion, I don't think.
I'm going to use the example that Esteban just gave, Pierce Morgan. Okay. Pierce Morgan is taking a risk because if he's in the wrong, he could cancel himself.
True. Could backfire.
So he's taking a risk. Now, should he be out there? I disagree with him coming out publicly saying that everybody needs to cancel him and stuff like that. That's not for him to say. That's for the individual companies to make that choice. And when they make that choice, if somebody wants to stand behind that decision that they've made, hey, thank you, blah, 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 for doing that. I appreciate that because I think he's blah, blah, blah myself. Okay.
Right.
Now you're throwing it as an opinion. But now when you're saying this or this or this should also do that, now you're giving direction, but you're also running the risk of canceling yourself. And if he wants to do that, that falls on him. Now, if I were in the business, I wouldn't be standing behind Pierce Morgan because if that backfires on Pierce Morgan, then it could also backfire on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is a world of minding your P's and Q's, watching out whose toes you step on and stuff like that. And you got to remember, because I know a lot of people are like, well, 30 years ago, you wouldn't have seen this. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have seen this. 20, 30 years ago, we didn't have this smaller world of the internet that we now have. I mean, just in this last decade, the world has gotten a lot smaller. So with that, we're going to see more and more of this type of stuff happening, and it's going to continue to happen. And people like us are going to come on here and debate, should they or shouldn't they?
And I think so many things have become a matter of public opinion.
Yeah,
Which way is, and everybody is on, somebody's on this side trying to sway it one way, somebody's on this side trying to sway it that way, but nobody wants to sway what is the truth. I'm gonna just try to sway my opinion, not my facts.
Right, because sometimes they don't allow the necessary time to be able to come up with to have the truth being told. By the time the actual truth is being told or researched, there's already 10 different truths.
Yes.
Right. And then when you look at the email and the text messages or whatever it was with the underage child that Russell Brand was with, that in itself is pretty damning and condemning.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
I mean, and quite frankly, I don't think as many people came out against Russell Brand as what they have now since the release of that information, which again, where you can say, but he's still innocent. Well, guess what? A criminal is innocent until the court says they're that criminal that they are. So whether or not they're convicted, if they are a criminal, they're still a criminal.
They were the whole time.
Okay.
They were a criminal the whole time. Okay.
Okay. So you really have to open your mind up to things in other aspects and all that. If a person commits that crime, say you got the video of them stabbing the tire on a car, have they violated the law? It's on video. In the court, that person is still innocent, even though you've seen the video of them doing it and you know they are guilty. They are a criminal. They just haven't been convicted yet. So in the eyes of the law, that criminal is innocent until proven guilty. In the eyes of the media and the eyes of the people, it's a whole nother story, which brings me back to Donald Trump.
I knew you were going to say that.
In the eyes of people, okay, he's got 91 indictments. He's guilty.
Right.
Not in the court of law.
Right.
Not in the court of law. Do I believe Donald Trump is a criminal? Absolutely. Do I believe he's guilty for the most part on most of the charges? Probably so.
Could
But
you just
again-
say yes?
Perfect. Yeah.
What's that?
Could
I-
you just say? Could you just say yes?
No, because let me explain why. Because
Oh, come on.
I have read all the indictments.
I don't want to hear why. I just want you to say yes.
I've read all the indictments, and I don't think he may be guilty on all 91 of them, but
Right.
I do believe on 87 of them he is.
Right. I'll take it.
Perfect. That's perfect way. That's perfect. Okay.
Sold.
I'll take that.
Yes.
That's good news.
87 is a good number.
87. That's a high ratio. I'll take 87. That's good.
All right.
I'm
all
happy
right.
now. All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. You guys,
Yep,
you all
thanks.
made some great points. Great points tonight about this. Stay tuned. It remains to be seen exactly what happens with this case. And for the I let's see what happens. Thank you for tuning in for today's Sound Off. Join us back again Monday morning at 11 a.m. For the Esteban Hours Week in Review. Please like, share, and follow at the Esteban Hour on all social media platforms. Always greatly appreciated. Okay. If you have a goal that you've achieved or accomplished today, don't forget to say to yourself, this is how we do it.